मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्येश्वरम्. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam to all. Welcome you all for the Japa session. So we've been discussing about Sharanagati, and we have elaborately discussed in two sessions about Anukulyasya Sankalpa and Pratikulyasya Varjanam. Now today we'll try to see about that rakṣiṣyatīti viśvāso and goptrutve varnam tatha. So most of the part will be of the protection, the rakshasi. So that's what we will discuss about it. So we will once recite the verse and then we will go into the discussion. So this comes in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, 22nd chapter, 100th verse. I think by now you all have remembered this. Anukulyasya sankalpaha pratikulyasya varjanam rakṣiṣyatīti viśvāso goptrutve varnam tatha atmanikshepakarpanye shadvidha sharanagatihi. The six divisions of surrender are the acceptance of those things favorable to devotional service, the rejection of unfavorable things, the conviction that Krishna will give protection, the acceptance of the Lord as one's guardian or master, full self-surrender, and humility. So these are the six things. So we have discussed about Anukulyasya Sankalpaha, Pratikulyasya Varjanam. So today we will discuss about this next part. rakṣiṣyatīti, rakṣiṣyatīti viśvāso goptrutve varanam tatha. So this word is actually, I finding it difficult to pronounce. So we will see how it actually explains about the words. So what happens is, in general, our conceptions will determine our actions. That means what we believe into, based on that, we actually take actions. So how do we look at Krishna and how do we look at ourselves in a way so that we can move forward in bhakti? That is important. So if we don't know that how we have to look at Krishna and how we have to look at ourselves, then it is very difficult to understand the protection of Krishna. So we have our own conceptions. Protection means this. Okay, maintenance means this. So like that, we have our own conceptions. But if those conceptions are not right, then what will happen is we will not be able to see Krishna's protection, though he is actually protecting us. So rakṣiṣyatīti viśvāso and goptrutve varnam tatha. So when we talk about in the nectar of instruction in the third verse, so there in the purport, Prabhupada uses one word, that avashya rakshibe Krishna. So he says that in the purport that a newly married girl naturally expects offspring from her husband, but she cannot expect to have them immediately after marriage. Of course, as soon as she is married, she can attempt to get a child, but she must surrender to her husband, confident that her child will develop and be born in due time. Similarly, in devotional service, surrender means that one has to become confident. The devotee thinks, Avashya Rakshibe Krishna. Krishna will surely protect me and give me help for the successful execution of devotional service. So that is called confidence. So when we talk about rakshana, or when we talk about security, okay, so this can be understood like, like security guard, we will be there. We have police and we have the border security. So many security things are there, people are there. So this is about rakshana, so protection. So when we talk about maintenance, okay, goptrutve varanam tatha, so that means that, like we have our job, or we have our people, we have our resources to maintain ourselves. So this protection and maintenance, so they are two different things. So today we will mostly discuss about the protection. So when we talk about the existence, our existence, we can make it into two parts. One is me, and second is the rest of the world. So whenever we want to conclude anything, we want to analyze something, we will do this separation. We will have one side, ourselves, and the other side, the whole rest of the world. So if my life is good or bad, how we will decide? I will keep myself at one side, and I will decide, or I will see and analyze that what rest of the world is doing with me. So if the rest of the world is doing good to me, then I will say that my life is good. When the rest of the world is not doing good with me, then I will say that my life is bad. So always we have this conception that one side I will keep myself, and one side I'll keep the rest of the world or rest of the reality. Now, if we say that the rest of the reality or the rest of the world is Krishna, because Krishna says in the 9.10, in the 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, 10th verse, that Maya Adhyakshena Prakriti Shruyate Sa Characharam Hetunanena Kaunteya Jagat Viparivartate. So when we were talking about Anukulyasya Sankalpam and Pratikulyasya Varjanam, there we discussed like there are three circles: Adhyatmika, Adibhautika, and Adidevika. So in these three circles, our life actually exists, okay, in this material world. And Krishna in 9.10 telling, Maya Adhyakshena Prakriti Suyate Sacharacharam. So under my supervision, everything is happening, right? So when we say that one side is me and second side is the rest of the world, so this whole world actually coming under the supervision of Krishna. So if we our conceptions about Krishna is not proper, then what will happen is when the world is doing bad with us, then we will see that Krishna is doing bad with me. Okay, so that is the reason even when Krishna is trying to protect us, when Krishna is trying to give the protection, we will not be able to understand it properly, because our understanding is that okay, everything is under control of Krishna, so he can do good to me, but still nothing good is happening to me. So that means Krishna is not doing favor to me. So we will start thinking in that way. So when we talk about the medical example, when a doctor gives us the injection or when the doctor does surgery on us, then actually we will feel pain. But that pain is intended not to give us pain, but to cure us. So the apparent pain which is actually happening to us on a bodily level, that is to cure our ultimate pain. So, similarly, whatever Krishna does with us, that is to cure our material disease, that we are locked in this world, we are caught in this world, and Krishna want to help us to go beyond this world, to go back home, back to Godhead. Now, when we are talking about this medical example or the doctor example, we know that what is our disease, and this doctor is doing the treatment. So we can say that, okay, I will bear. When we go for the injection shot, it will actually pain over here, but that can actually cure our some viral fever or something which is going on inside. So his apparent pain, we know that we have to tolerate this pain, because this pain actually cure my disease. So it is very much clear when we talk about doctor example or disease example. But in life, when something bad happens to us, it is very difficult to understand whether it is Krishna's plan, or Krishna is not in favor of me, or what is thing is going on. So it is very difficult to identify. Now, let us say when we take the example of Bharat Maharaj. So Bharat Maharaj, when he actually got attached to the deer, okay, he saved the deer from dying, and then he got attached to the deer, and because of that, in the next life, he born as a deer only. So, but that time he was in the body of deer, but his consciousness was protected. So he was aware that in my past life, I was so much got attached to this deer, and because of that I got the deer body. So what did he do? He did not behave like a deer. He actually lived like a saint. So he used to go to the near the association of the saintly people. He used to eat only dry leaves, okay, and he was not at all hanging out with just like other deers do. So he was conscious that previous life I made this mistake. Now this time I don't want to make a mistake. I want to progress, and Krishna has given me this opportunity, so let me utilize it. So in the next of that life, he born as Jada Bharat. So that time he was actually all intelligent, but he was behaving like he is not intelligent, he's not interested in normal life. So because in the previous lives when he was saving the deer, he saved that deer out of compassion. Okay, so in compassion comes in the mode of goodness. So because he saved out of compassion, but later it got converted into mode of passion and he got attached to that deer. So when he born as a Jada Bharat, he was aware that, even in the mode of goodness, there is a chance that I will fall. So what did he do? He did not got interested into any ritualistic things. His father wanted to make him a good Brahmana, but he refused to do it, right? He behaved as if he doesn't know anything. He behaved as if a fool, right? So Jada Bharat. So here in the case of Jada Bharat, or in the case of Bharat Maharaj was aware that what mistake I have done, and whatever is happening with me now, whether I took a birth as a deer or Jada Bharat, this is Krishna's protection for me. This is Krishna's mercy. So this is the surgery that Krishna wanted to perform on me so that he can cure me and he can take me out of this world. So in Bharat Maharaj case, he knows it. But unlike Bharat Maharaj, in our life, we don't know. If someone betrays us, then it is very, very difficult to, have our mental stability. When someone betrays us, we will start losing our faith in the person whom we trusted. And not only that, we may start losing our faith in the whole humanity. And we may also start losing faith in ourselves also. Like, how did I trust a person who has betrayed me? And we may start, it will be a very discouraging, disappointing, and devastating experience for us. So that time, Krishna maybe wanted to teach us something, but if we are not aware about it, or if we do not have a, enough intelligence or the enough understanding to know that everything bad happens to us has a purpose, has a greater purpose, and we have to learn and we have to grow. If we do not have this conception, then what will happen? We will not be able to surrender to Krishna. Because when we see that the rest of the reality is actually working against me, and that rest of the reality is under the supervision of Krishna, then how can I surrender to someone who is not doing good to me? So it is very easy to surrender when our prayers get answered. Oh, I pray to God that, give me the job. And when the job comes, then it is easy to surrender to the Lord. When I say that, I have a bad health, so please cure me, and we get cured, then it is easy to surrender. But sometimes our prayers will not get answered. So when our prayers are not getting answered, that time also, how we can maintain the surrender mode, or how we can take the action to surrender. So for that, we have to know what Krishna is and how his plans works. What is his mercy? So when we talk about this, our philosophical grounding has to be very nice. So we should not only think that when my prayers get answered, I'll be able to surrender. Because what is when Krishna answers our prayers, or whether he doesn't answer our prayers, ultimately he is the true benefactor for us. So he will sometime answer our prayers and he gives us what we want. But if he feels that if I give him something what he wanted, then it may obstruct his spiritual path, then he may take away the things also. So Krishna's working, we have to understand properly. Otherwise, it will become very, very difficult to develop faith in Krishna and surrender to him. So when we take the example of Parikshit Maharaj, so when Parikshit Maharaj was in the womb of his mother Uttara, so that time Ashwadhama actually released a Brahmastra to kill him. And that time, Krishna entered in the womb of Uttara and he protected Parikshit Maharaj. But at the end of the life of Parikshit Maharaj, when he got cursed by a Brahmana called Shringi to die in 7 days, so that time Krishna did not protect him, right? So he actually taken shelter of Krishna, and he was very exalted personality. He did not say, oh, see, such a how, misfortune I have, because I did a small mistake and so much of reaction has come, I got cursed, so I'm dying. So he did not say all this. So when the sages were in front of him, he said, how fortunate I am that you all came to give your association in my last days. So he was absorbed in the Krishna Katha, which Shukadeva Goswami was retelling the Srimad Bhagavatam, and that time he was absorbed. So before he actually get caught, get bitten by the Takshaka, his soul was actually elevated. So we see that the same Krishna who protected the Parikshit Maharaj in the womb of Uttara did not protect him from the curse of a Brahmana. So how to understand this? Can we say that Krishna doesn't care for Parikshit Maharaj, or Krishna is not capable to protect from the Brahmana's curse? So how do we understand this? So if our conception is that Krishna's protection means it will come only on the material level, then we will be, we'll left mistaken in our life, because Krishna's protection will not be on only on the material level. Krishna's protection can be on the level of consciousness also, because ultimately having good facilities over here, having the protection over in this material world is not the ultimate thing. The ultimate protection is the protection of our consciousness. Are we still Krishna conscious? When the things go wrong, if we are still able to maintain our Krishna consciousness, then we should know that it is Krishna's protection only, because that is the permanent thing. That is the eternal thing that actually gonna stay with us and will elevate us, because we keep on changing our bodies. Even if Krishna protect sometime this particular body, but over a period of time, we have to give up this body and take another body. So what is Krishna's ultimate protection is that not on the bodily level or not on the material level, but that he is making arrangements so that we need not come back to this world again, so that we need not take up this body again. So that level of protection also he can give. So Parikshit Maharaj was actually protected on the level of consciousness. He was absorbed in the Krishna, and he actually left the body with so much of absorption. So before the Takshaka wanted to kill him, he actually left the body. So that is the level of protection Krishna gives. When we take different examples also, when we see the example of Prahlad Maharaj, so Prahlad Maharaj was protected on the bodily level also, right? And when we talk about the example of Jatayu, he actually got killed when he was protecting Sita from the Ravana. But what happened? His last rites were being performed by Lord Ramachandra. So Lord may not give us the protection always on the material level. Lord may not give us the protection by answering our all the prayers, but he may give us protection in different ways. So his protection may not come in the way we think, but his protection will always come. So if we do not have proper philosophical understanding about how Krishna works in our life, then we will have misconceptions about the protection. So our faith has to develop. First, we have to understand how Krishna works. And based on that, our faith has to be taken. So before we take a decision to surrender to Krishna, we should know how Krishna actually protects, how he has protected in different levels to different devotees. So if we have this proper understanding, even when something bad happens to in our life, we will still not, we will not lose our faith. We will still feel like, Krishna has the potency to bring good even out of bad things. So bad things are bad, but Krishna is so good that he can bring something out of bad also, something good out of bad also. So when we have this kind of faith, then we will be able to surrender. So thinking or having faith that Krishna will protect me cannot happen just whimsically. We have to have a proper understanding of the philosophy. We have to have the proper understanding about in what levels Krishna can give us protection. Then only our faith in Krishna will actually get strong, and then we will be able to surrender. If only good is happening, we want to surrender, that is not a great relationship. So, whatever may happen, Krishna, I am your servant, you are my master. So, with this conviction, we have to go. And to get that conviction, we have to have a strong foundation of our philosophy. So, I'll just summarize what we have started discussing. So, we were discussing about rakṣiṣyatīti, viśvāso. So, how Krishna is the protector. So, protection and maintenance are two different things. And we today going to discuss more about the protection. So, when we talk about protection, before arrive to know what is protection and all, so we have seen the examples like, that if we do not have the proper conception about Krishna and proper conception about how Krishna's working is there in our life, we will not be able to have proper faith. And we have told that, there are two units. One is me and the rest of the world. And the rest of the world comes under the supervision of Krishna. So when something bad happens, so everything is in control, so control of Krishna. And if something bad is happening to me, that means Krishna is doing it. So if we have this conception, then we'll not be able to surrender. So Krishna has supervision about, under his supervision, everything is happening. But Krishna is not causing everything to cause us pain. Just like we use an example, when a doctor gives an injection or surgery, it is not to cause pain, but it is to cure the ultimate pain. So in Bharat Maharaj case, we have seen that, Bharat Maharaj knows that, what Krishna want to cure and what mistake he has did. But for us, most of the lifetimes, we don't remember what mistake we have done. Because of that, we are going through this bad time. So whether we know it or not, one thing we should know that, Krishna is always protecting. So avashya rakshibe Krishna. So that is the confidence we should have. Just like a married woman has a confidence in her husband that the child will be born and he will develop. Similarly, we should have the, faith in Krishna that he is going to protect me. And we have seen in the case of Parikshit Maharaj that Parikshit Maharaj didn't got the protection in terms of material level. His life was not saved, but his consciousness was saved. So Krishna's protection can come in different levels and different forms. It may not come in the way we want it or the way we expect it, but it will definitely come. And we should have that faith. And to develop that faith, we have to have a proper philosophical understanding that how Krishna works in our life. So this was about this topic.